I couldn't bring myself to watch this one because it looked too gross. Let's see how well it recaps. The movie is set in a dystopian future where pollution and climate change have reduced the world into a dark and dilapidated place. To cope with this, the human body has undergone numerous biological changes. Some of them include the disappearance of physical pain and infectious diseases. Moreover, due to the scarcity of pure water and food, the human digestive system has started changing. The movie opens up with a little 8-year-old boy named Brecken playing at the beach. He appears to be having a good time, but his mother, Juna, warns him not to eat anything he finds on the ground. This indicates that Brecken has a habit of eating unwanted stuff. After a while, he returns home and enters the washroom to freshen himself up. Brecken first brushes his teeth, then cleans his face, but after that, he shockingly sits on the floor and starts eating the plastic dustbin kept there. His teeth are so sharp and advanced that he chews the hard material without any trouble. Juna notices him in the act but doesn't say anything. It is evident that she is tired of her son's unnatural behavior. So, at night, she decides to take matters into her own hands. When little Brecken goes to bed, Juna slowly approaches him, holding a pillow, and puts it over his face. Brecken shouts for help, but Juna presses the pillow hard and suffocates him to death. While doing this, she does not show a single sign of guilt or remorse. Following this, Juna sits on the toilet seat, calls her ex-husband Lang, and informs him that she killed Brecken. She also mentions that she never considered their son anything but a monster. And now that everything's over, she wants Lang to come home and take the boy's corpse away. As soon as Juna hangs up, Lang breaks down in tears, devastated that his only offspring has been taken away from him. Later that night, he arrives at the house but does not find Juna anywhere. When he finally comes across his son's body, he once again becomes emotional and starts crying. The scene then shifts to another place where a person named Saul is sleeping in a cocoon-like chamber supported by several contraptions. We learn that he is suffering from a rare evolutionary disease, which leaves him in extreme agony. The major symptoms of the condition are respiratory and intestinal difficulties. To cope with this, Saul sleeps in the cocoon-like bed, which helps him minimize the pain. When he wants to eat, he sits on a special chair that twitches and spins to help him digest food. However, it is a very uncomfortable process, and Saul no longer feels like eating these days. One morning, while he is in deep sleep, his girlfriend Caprice enters the room and wakes him up. Saul complains that his machine bed is not working properly, as he is facing trouble sleeping all night.
Goddamn spinny twitch bed, they don't make them like they used to.
In response, Caprice calms him down and reveals about the test results they performed recently. She explains that Saul is developing a new organ inside his body, and this is why he is experiencing pain. She then inserts a black tube inside his stomach and observes the new organ. Caprice tells him that she cannot exactly figure out the organ, but it seems similar to an adrenal gland. Afterward, she takes him to the National Organ Registry to trademark his new organ. Inside, they meet the head of the department, Whippet, and his assistant, Timlin. Whippet assures the couple that after the complete development of the newly grown organ, Saul will feel no pain at all. He then heads to his office to prepare some documents while the two women start chatting. Timlin asks Caprice what they do for a living, and the latter responds that they are a performance artist couple. Their shows usually involve Caprice removing the extra organs from Saul's body in front of a live audience. They use specially designed equipment to perform their shows. Screw Avatar, I want to see that. Later, Whippet, along with his assistant, strap Saul to a chair and begin investigating his new organ. They also leave a mark on it so that they can track the changes and its effects. Caprice tries to film the entire process with a camera attached to a ring, but Timlin stops her from doing so. After the procedure is completed, Saul and Caprice leave, but not before inviting Timlin and Whippet to their new upcoming art performance. In the following scene, two technicians arrive at Saul's place to help him readjust his bed and chair. They are from the same company that manufactured these machines. During their shift, the technicians snoop around the house and come across an advanced autopsy unit. One of the technicians realizes that the unit is an old one, which was discontinued by the company a long time ago. When she asks Caprice about it, the latter reveals that it's the same machine which helps her perform her shows with Saul. The scene then fast forwards to the day of their art performance. We see Saul sleeping inside the autopsy unit, while Caprice is dressed in a dark red dress, equipped with some buttons under her chest. The buttons actually control the arms of the autopsy machine. While performing surgery on Saul, they are surrounded by a huge crowd, including Whippet and Tamlin Timlin. After a while, the show begins, and Caprice, with the help of the machine, cuts through Saul and exposes his newly grown organ. The procedure is a gruesome one, but Saul doesn't feel any pain. In fact, he is enjoying every single second of it. Okay, never mind. I want to see Avatar, please. As the show comes to an end, the crowd erupts in cheers and expresses their satisfaction at the wonderful sight. Among them is Lang, who is seen eating a dark chocolate bar. After the successful performance, Timlin approaches Saul and applauds his talent. She even goes on to say that she felt aroused watching him. In response, Saul says that he is happy he can make her feel that way. As the two continue chatting, Caprice notices them and becomes jealous. However, she acts professional and chooses not to intervene. Meanwhile, a random guy eats the chocolate bar left by Lang and instantly chokes to death. The next day, Timlin and Whippet are questioned by Detective Cope about the case of Saul. He says that he works for the government and is investigating the individuals who are trying to modify their organs. However, instead of revealing confidential information, Timlin defends Saul, saying he is doing all this just for his performances. Elsewhere, Saul attends a crazy show where a performance artist has grown ears all around his body. Some of them have come out of his hands, legs, and even private parts. You might even say he enjoys the sound of his own farts. After a while, as Saul prepares to leave, Lang arrives there and confronts him with a strange request. He wants Saul and his wife to conduct a show where they will perform an autopsy on Brecken's body. Lang asserts that there is a surprise for them inside the boy's stomach. Hearing this, Saul becomes intrigued and says that he will think about it before walking away. Later, Saul reaches home and chats with his girlfriend regarding the idea suggested by Lang. Caprice agrees right away, but mentions that they need to modify their autopsy unit to perform the act. After this, she lies inside the machine and checks the parts that need to be modified. At night, Saul sneaks out of the house and meets Detective Cope. It is then revealed that he is working for the detective to find out the individuals who are performing bodily modifications illegally. Saul reveals that he has been asked to visit a cosmetic surgeon, and Cope gives him permission to follow the lead. The following day, the two technicians from earlier arrive at Saul's residence and start modifying the autopsy unit as instructed by Caprice. In the meantime, Saul visits the cosmetic surgeon, who suggests that he install a zipper in his stomach. With the help of this, he can display his newly grown organ to the audience anytime he desires. Saul agrees without any hesitation and goes under the knife. After the surgery, he returns home and shows his newly installed zipper to Caprice. Surprisingly, she is so impressed by the zipper that she kneels down and starts licking it, pleasuring Paul.
Oh yeah, X my Z, sweetums.
In the next scene, Saul visits the prison and meets Juna to ask about her son, Brecken. The psychotic woman, who still doesn't regret her actions, says that her son was not a normal human but a monster. He used to eat plastic and other harmful materials with ease. Juna also reveals that he was deliberately created by his father Lang, who belongs to a revolutionary group. This group is infamous for tweaking internal organs and modifying other body parts. On the other hand, Lang enters a factory-like warehouse where his friends are working hard to prepare chocolates from plastics and other toxic waste. Here, we get to know that random guy at the bar died because of the consumption of toxic waste. Lang then talks to his colleagues and tells them that he will soon let the public know about his son's unique ability to digest plastic. The next day, Caprice attends an art show where a female cuts and makes scars on her face.
This is so much better than Hamilton.
Caprice is really impressed by the scars and the elegance in creating them. Later, she is approached by the performing lady, who invites her to make modifications on her face. Caprice thinks for a brief second and agrees. Afterward, she returns home with a scar modification on her forehead, and Saul seems to like it. Caprice tells him that she wants to lead the autopsy they're going to perform on Brecken, and he agrees to let her do it. Later that day, the couple heads to Lang's place and takes a look at Brecken's dead body. Seeing his innocent face, Caprice becomes a bit anxious and starts having second thoughts about the autopsy. However, Lang reassures her that it is fine and explains that he wants to make a statement to the public. His ultimate goal is to stop the government from hunting down the evolutionists. Lang also talks about Saul's feeding problem and provides him with a candy bar as a solution. The latter is a bit skeptical about eating it, so he simply keeps it in his pocket. Following this, Lang reveals how his group members modified their digestive systems to be able to consume and digest plastic. He also tells them that his son, Brecken, was the only human born with a natural digestive system capable of absorbing nutrients out of plastic. The information leaves the the couple stunned, and they become even more motivated to perform the autopsy. Following this, the scene cuts to the day of the show. Caprice begins the autopsy on the dead boy, while Timlin, Lang, and several other people are watching from the audience. All the people are anticipating that they will see something unique inside Brecken's body, as the show has been marketed extensively. However, to their dismay, Caprice discovers that the boy has a normal digestive system, just like anyone else. This leaves Lang speechless, and realizing that his plan has failed miserably, he storms out of the place. He then sits on the staircase and begins crying. Imagine being sad because your son's autopsy disappointed a live audience. Shortly after, the two technicians who claim that they represent the equipment company approach him. At first, they try to comfort him, but when he is distracted, they put power drills into his brain and finish him off. This finally reveals that they too work for the government. After the show, Saul meets Detective Cope and inquires if anyone tampered with Brecken's body. The detective confidently reveals that he changed the boy's internal organs, as he didn't want the public to know about the evolution of humans. The one who assisted him in this mission was none other than Timlin. As Saul listens in disbelief, Cope further reveals that Lang has been taken care of by his associates. Now, they won't have to worry about any revolution. Hearing this, Saul becomes upset, as he had started sympathizing with Lang. The poor man only wanted to raise a voice about his kind, so that the public would treat them like normal humans. Hence, Saul refuses to continue working for Cope, and walks away from there. The plastic tummy people must be heard. The next day, he struggles to feed himself, despite sitting on his special chair. The pain inside his body has only become worse, and he is unable to move his limbs properly. When nothing works, Saul decides to try one of the candy bars that Lang provided him before. Surprisingly, as soon as he swallows the first bite, the pain in his body goes away. Saul then looks into Caprice's eyes, passes a smile, and sheds a tear. This means that Saul's body has also evolved, and he is now capable of digesting toxic waste. The movie ends with Saul sitting still on the chair, which has stopped moving. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.